So, what if I told you the secret to passing one of India's toughest exams isn't about studying harder, but about surviving a pretty brutal online classroom? We're about to take you inside a prep class for the Air Force Common Admission Test. And what we saw was a teaching philosophy so intense, it might just change the way you think about education. The class kicks off, but not with a lesson. Nope, it starts with a roll call. And here's the thing, out of 100 students who've paid and enrolled, only about half are even there. For the instructor, this isn't just a small issue. It's the entire reason most of them are destined to fail. And trust me, he is not about to let that slide. So, to really get what's happening here, we're going to break it all down. First, we'll step into this high-stakes classroom. Then, we'll look at how the instructor diagnoses the problem. After that, we'll see his pretty radical solution, followed by what he calls a trial by fire, a live test. And finally, we'll unpack the lessons that go way beyond just this one exam. Okay, welcome to the Tejas batch. And let me tell you, this is not your average online course. Think of it more like a boot camp for the AFCAT exam, where literally thousands of people are fighting for just a handful of spots to become officers in the Indian Air Force. The pressure is just immense, and the guy running the show has a teaching style to match. And this quote right here, it pretty much sums up his entire philosophy. This isn't one of those massive online courses where you're just facing the crowd. Nope, it's a small, super focused group, and every single student is on his personal radar. There is literally nowhere to hide. So before he even thinks about teaching a single lesson, this instructor, he kind of plays doctor. He believes that to cure failure, you've got to diagnose its symptoms first. And his diagnosis, it is brutally honest. And this really gets to the heart of his frustration. For him, the problem isn't about a lack of talent or intelligence. It's about a lack of commitment. He's basically asking them straight up, like, why would you pay for a course and then not even bother to show up? He sees it as this fundamental lack of seriousness that dooms them from the start. And he breaks it down even further, right? It's not just about who's in their seat. He calls out this lackadaisical attitude, Students who don't take ownership of their own success. They're not watching recordings, they're not asking questions, they're just wasting an opportunity that other people would kill for. So, the big question is, how does he fix this? Well, his solution is all about two things: radical accountability and constant, unrelenting pressure. His logic is pretty simple. If the students won't push themselves, then he will. And here's how he does it. It's a three-step method. First, participation isn't optional. It's mandatory. Second, there's a verbal test every 10 days. No hiding behind a screen. You have to know your stuff. And third, the ultimate threat. If you're not taking it seriously, you're out. He will literally revoke your access to the course you paid for. But, there are two sides to this coin. On one hand, you get this really tough love. He tells one student who's falling behind, you should be ashamed. But then, on the other hand, he reveals that he's given free access to students who were dedicated but couldn't afford the fee, taking that spot away from someone who paid but wasn't serious. It's a pretty fascinating balancing act. All right, and now for the main event, the trial by fire. This is where all that talk about accountability smacks right into the reality of a rapid-fire quiz. It's 15 minutes of pure, uncut pressure, and it tells you everything you need to know. He kicks things off with a question that should be fresh in their minds, something they've definitely covered: the full form of NATO. Seems simple enough, right? Well, under pressure, even the basics can suddenly feel like a minefield. So a student jumps in, sounds super confident, but gets it wrong. He says territory instead of treaty. Now, that might seem like a tiny mistake, but in an exam where a single mark can decide your entire future, that one word is a critical error. The instructor doesn't even blink. He just moves on to the next student for the right answer. No second chances. And you can just feel the intensity ramping up here. When another student tries to jump in out of turn, he gets shut down with this almost military-like precision. The message is crystal clear. Follow the rules, wait your turn, and maintain discipline, period. And this is where it gets really personal. The instructor calls out a student, Adesh, not for getting an answer wrong, but for not even being prepared. He asks him point blank why he hasn't watched the class recordings, accusing him of sleeping on the job. It's uncomfortable to watch, for sure, but it is his accountability system in real time. And then, just when you think you know what's coming, he throws a total curveball, a surprise round on cricket facts. The length of the pitch, the height of the stumps, the weight of the ball. It's completely out of left field, and it tests not just what they were taught, but their general awareness and their attention to detail. So as the test wraps up, the instructor, he kind of shifts gears. He uses everything that just happened, the pressure, the mistakes, the wins, to deliver a much broader message about what it actually takes to succeed, not just in this exam, but in the career they all want so badly. And this right here is his ultimate point. He keeps hammering it home. This is way more than just an exam. They're trying to become military officers, and that requires a certain mindset, a mindset of discipline, responsibility, and seriousness. And it all starts right here, in this class. He even has a name for the mindset you need. He calls it being doubly sure. The idea is simple. Especially with stuff like general knowledge, there's no middle ground. You either know it or you don't. And he drives home the point that when a single mark separates success from failure, you just can't afford to be half sure about anything. And finally, after all that pressure, there's a payoff. The winner of the quiz, a student named Suniti, gets a reward. The instructor announces he's going to personally courier her a book of past exam questions. It's a small thing, but it sends a powerful message. Your hard work and your performance will be recognized. So all of this leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? In this age of online courses where, let's be honest, most people don't even finish them, is this intense, high accountability style the future? Or is it just too much? As we all keep learning and working online, it's a question worth thinking about.